Hello, welcome to Greek Verse a Day. Today we're going to translate the first half of Revelation 3:3, namely Revelation 3:3a. So as always, I encourage you to be working from your Reader's Edition of the Greek New Testament. And in addition to your Greek Reader's Edition of the New Testament, I encourage you to, if you have this handy, the David Allen Black's New Testament Greek textbook that we used for the Greek 1 class. If you have it, if you're in a place where you can access it, I encourage you to go ahead and grab that. And maybe also the different parsing help cheat sheets that I gave you for the Greek 1 class, because we're going to do a little bit of looking back to the imperative mood in Black today, and looking back to Black's textbook, as well as looking to those cheat sheets, are going to help you out with that. If you don't have them, that's okay. You can sort of press on in the video, but I'm going to ask you to look up some things in Black. Usually just look up one or two things in Black or on your cheat sheet. So as always, we're going to start with one slow reading, move to a faster reading, give you a chance to translate before I jump in. So let's go ahead and do our slow reading. And I should apologize for the background noise. We have new windows coming in. So this window within the next few videos is going to be replaced by a new window that presumably is going to look a whole lot like it. But if you hear some background noise, that's what's going on. And if you see me looking around, it's probably because I heard a loud bang or something like that. All right, let's go ahead and do our slow reading. Mane manue un pos elephas kai ekusas kai tere kai metanaeson. A little bit faster this second time. Mane manue un pos elephas kai ekusas kai tere kai metanoeson. So, as you go about your pause here, now would be the time to look up in page 186 in Black's Grammar for some helps on some of these here, some of the words that you're going to find here, specifically the imperative. So that page is going to be start the paradigms for the imperative. So as you go about translating this, looking both to your Reader's Edition, which is going to give you some notes here, look also to page 186 in Black to refresh yourself on the imperative. All right, so right away we get one of these imperative verbs here, mane manue, which you do not get a parsing note. Let me double check that to make sure I'm right about that. Oh, no, actually you do get a parsing note on this one. A present active imperative, second person singular, meaning remember. So the command is for the church at Sardis to remember. So remember then, and then all of this is actually just this right here is going to be the object of what is remembered. Remember then pos, how, and then elephas here, you're also going to get a parsing note for this one. This is I'm going to write this one down, a perfect active indicative second person singular from Lambano. And I'm going to ask you a hard question here and see if you can recall it. So elephas does not look anything like Lambano, and it's a perfect tense. Can you tell me sort of what's going on with the fact that elephas doesn't look anything like Lambano in the perfect tense? That's right. It's what's called a second perfect. So just as we have second aorist, remember second aorist are those strong verbs that change their form altogether in the aorist. They don't look anything like what the verb looks like in the present tense, or they look different, I should say. There's also some second perfect verbs that are going to change their form when they go into the perfect tense. They're still translated the same way as past completed action with results that continue into present time, but they're going to look different. So that's why elephas looks a whole lot different than lambano, the verb for receive. So remember, therefore, how you received. And we'd like to sort of have something here as an object of what is received, but we don't get anything. So how you received, grace or something along those lines. And then continuing on here, we have sort of a new clause with 3 different verbs. 2 of them are going to be imperatives, and one of them is not going to be an imperative. I'd like you to go ahead and pause. You don't get the parsing information for this one from your reader's edition. I want to see if you can test yourself here and see if you can parse this. So go ahead and pause the video here and see if you can parse this one. So your parsing information should have been an aorist active indicative second person singular from akuo. So you heard. So this one, I sort of gave you the hint to the indicative. This one is different than all the other verbs, or some of the other verbs, I should say. This one's also an indicative, but from the imperatives that sort of dominate this first half of Revelation 3. So this is the difference between the indicative and the imperative is, of course, in the indicative, the action is sort of happened in the past. It's stated as fact. So the church had received and heard, and you heard. And then we have, this one's a little bit tricky. This is as you don't get parsing information on in your reader's edition for this one, but it looks a whole lot like an indicative verb. So you could be forgiven for thinking this is an indicative verb, a third person singular, this a ending you would normally think that with, but it's actually a contract verb from tereo. So what has happened is that we would not have the omega is the first person singular ending, and when you add the epsilon of the imperative, if you're looking at page 165 in black at the present active imperative paradigm, you'll see that the ending is an epsilon. And so when this epsilon is added to this epsilon, we get an epsilon iota. And so that's what's going on here with tere. This is actually an imperative. So you heard and keep, so it's now a command, keep and metanoeson, and I believe you get a parsing note for this one. Let me double check once again. Oh, no, you do not. So your parsing information here is going to be aorist active imperative second person singular from the verb which means to repent or change one's mind. And so a command to repent and a command to keep, even though nothing is sort of given here as an object of keep. The idea is sort of keeping on or persist or persevere. So to put it all together, we have remember therefore how you received, or maybe if we want to smooth it over even a little more, what you received. And you heard. And so presumably we're thinking of the same object. You received and heard the same thing. And keep that you received and repent.